And that reversion takes place by a, thank goodness, a communion, a communion, and a conjunction. Now, in the Platonic tradition, I'd like to add one more thought for you. The way in which mind proceeds and extends itself into soul, Platonic tradition uses a very interesting term. It irradiates. This is a light coming down. It irradiates the soul. That's the way in which it is encountered, radiance. Therefore, mind, all right, being possessed by the soul, or the soul possessing the mind, it's a function of mind irradiating from itself a radiance, which is nothing other than intelligence itself, from its own source merging in man. Therefore, while we can talk about this experience being Satchitananda, it is also encountered as divine radiance. Right. It can be analyzed in terms of these categories, of course, but as a experience, it's an experience of luminosity. All desire the good, therefore each has a desire of its own and for its own cause. Through that which gives it being, it attains its well-being, which is the source of its well-being and the primary object of its desire. Therefore, that completes the whole idea of the ideal or the completed relationship with procession and reversion. Thank you. Curious Dane?
When you return to your source,
Mm-hmm.
even on a larger scale
Yeah.
the reincarnation, do you lose? What happens? You said to you as an individual. Do we just merge?
What happened?
To Proclus,
What
do we
happened?
Just merge into the universe, and we are no more, or?
So, what happened to your 16-year-old self?
Grew up.
Well, what happened?
Yeah, good question.
12. What do you want, as it were, to surface and to continue? The 12-year-old you? 16? 21? Or as much as you are possible to be? In this game, the thing that's repeated is that what you keep as intrinsic to yourself is what you've come to know. That's what you carry within. Because this existence is a knowing existence. Mind marks all of our existence. That's what we call ourselves, right? Rational man. Should be, right? Yeah. So what you carry is what you've learned. For the Platonists, this is a learning experience. Life is learning. Because would you not agree, whichever way you want to consider it, body, soul, mind, in each case, would you not agree, in order to remember the three ideas? Plan, command, care. Right? in that sense, we're trying to become, as it were, we're trying to become rulers. Rulers, but not tyrants. We're trying to become just rulers to our body. We want to become just rulers, right, in respect to our mind. Right? We want a certain justice in the way in which we function, justice in the highest sense of fairness. Don't we? So that our task here for the Platonic vision is that to achieve any of our goals, we have to in some way bring along the body carefully, not at war with it. Or we have to train the soul so that it plans carefully, it then commands correctly, because it has a vision of caring for itself on the highest level, and therefore is willing to participate more fully in mind on the highest level. So as a consequence of that, mind itself then can be said to help direct us, for mind is sovereign. And we don't mind being subjects when we can discover we're also rulers, or participants in that ruling. So through this levels, different grades of reality, the whole task is learning to be whatever this is. See, here's the key to it. Each wants to be themselves, but what's that most ideally, the self? What is that? What are your upper limits? In this game, you want to push the upper limits always. You want to push the upper limits. And do you know, I had a very lovely quote, and by heavens, I wasn't able to find that thing. That happened to me once before here. Gosh! So you know what? I think I know which one it is anyhow. I think I know which one it is.
So it's like a spiral in a sense.
The spiral, yeah. And the higher is always...
Return and come back, return and come back and return.
Yeah,
We're always going higher all the time.
Yeah. You can also see it in this way. There's a step we can add to this then. Just making this more... It doesn't make any difference which one, because what I'll say is always true, which is about any of them. Let's call this E, F, G, H, rather than give it formal names, all right? G participates in F. It must be willing to participate in F, as F must be willing for G to participate in it. But there's a part of F which G does not participate in. Therefore, we can call this part unparticipated for G. This is the higher, and G also has a lower, that is, something participates in it. So there's always a higher and a lower, except for the top and the bottom terms. And there's also always a level that is unparticipated, which for the lower is beyond its scope and reach. And therefore, as in any mean analogy between these, this is trying to